Yes, people. So in this video, we're going to take a look at the most expensive metal right now in the world. So we're on your story. So which metal is more precious than gold? Think gold is the priciest metal? You might want to think again. Discover why rhodium rules the world of precious metals and why it might just drive the future. So let's take a look at what rhodium actually is. So this article dates back from May. So let's take a look. When you think of the world's precious metals, chances are gold pops up into your mind, maybe silver, platinum, other kinds of metals like that that you might find on luxury jewelry or advertisements. But also you might find it on things like gold chains and so on, because that's what people have generally thought of as being the most expensive or the most well sought after, i.e. gold. But it's not actually gold and it's not platinum either. It's rhodium. Now, this dazzling ultra rare metal that's more valuable than both basically is quietly working behind the scenes in cars and other kind of tech out there. So let's take a look at this here. So as of early 2025, rhodium remains the world's most expensive metal, trading at an average of 4,500 per ounce. Obviously, it's probably going to be more now, as this article dates back to May, and sometimes spikes even higher depending on supply disruption. Now, to put that into perspective, so different prices there going back from May. So it says here, what makes rhodium so valuable? At first glance, rhodium looks like a shiny silver white metal, so reflective it could almost double as your rearview mirror. But what's its real superpower? Environmental protection. Around 80% of all rhodium produced is used in catalytic converters. So that's the main kind of component in a car. The crucial parts inside car exhaust systems that transform toxic gases like nitrogen oxides into clean emissions such as nitrogen or water vapor. In a world grappling with climate change and tightening emission laws, from the EU's Euro 7 regulation to California's stricter 2030 vehicle targets, demand for rhodium has surged. And since rhodium is incredibly rare, it's roughly 100 times rarer than gold, its value skyrockets every time environment regulations get stricter. So we see the world moving towards a more green kind of, government policies and eco policies. So this, metal is very much more valuable now. So to put it lightly, if metals were superheroes, rhodium would be like the eco warrior we never knew we needed. So where does it come from? Rhodium exclusivity isn't just because of its rarity, it's about the location. Majority of 80% of global rhodium production comes from South Africa, specifically from the Bushveld Igneous Complex, one of the richest mineral reserves on Earth. Other producers include, or minor ones, like Russia, around about 12%, and Canada and Zimbabwe. But mainly the world supply chain is highly concentrated, making the market vulnerable to price swings based on political or economic instability in those regions. Simply put, when South Africa sneezes, rhodium prices catch a fever. So obviously the main bulk of rhodium is in South Africa, and that's where it's happening for this metal. So while rhodium wears a price crown, it's not the only fascinating member of the precious metals elite club. So you've got other metals like iridium, the dense element on Earth, basically the densest element on Earth, often used in spark plugs, electrical contracts, and even space exploration. That was around $4,000 back in early 2025. Osmium, also ultra dense with a blush silver hue, valued for high-end fountain pens and surgical implants. So that price again was about 1,200 back in May. Palladium, then that's another expensive metal. I think it's currently the world's number two. Another crucial metal for catalytic converters and electronics, though less rare than rhodium. And obviously gold, probably one of the world's favorites. Despite not being the priciest, gold remains the undisputed king when it comes to things like luxury, jewelry, financial security, gold bars, investing, securities, and so on. Each metal has a unique role in the contemporary world, from reducing pollution or powering tech to symbolizing love to things like jewelry. Okay, so throughout the year, it's likely that rhodium prices will be high. So let's see why. So we talked about the global green push. So more countries like EU, for example, and other countries are tightening emission rules for the climate change, basically emergency, eco-friendly guidelines from the governments and so on. So this keeps rhodium high in demand, especially for transport tech. Supply constraints, so mining rhodium is no walk in the park. Quite difficult to actually extract it from byproduct of platinum and nickel mining, and it's obviously difficult as well to obtain it as rhodium supplies shrink fast, and it's only really mainly available in one part of the world, which is South Africa, although there are other places as well, but the vast majority of it is mined in South Africa. So according to analysts at Metal Focus 2025 report, rhodium demand is projected to grow around about 5 to 7% annually, though basically through to 2030, especially as hybrid vehicles, which rely heavily on catalytic converters, dominate emerging markets. Okay, so basically, understanding metals beyond gold isn't just trivia, it's good insight to have. It's a backbone of our contemporary and modern world. Metals like rhodium, iridium, and osmium silently fuel the cleaner cars, the new generation of vehicles, motor vehicles, and tech, eco friendly cars, smart electronics, and advanced medical tech that we basically take for granted, but we do need going into the future. So the next time you hear precious metal, don't just think about gold as being just as the only precious metal, or silver or something like that, or platinum. There are other, different metals out there, and rhodium is one of the big players right now. Okay, people, do let us know in the comment section below whether you knew rhodium was the number one most expensive metal, or what you think about that. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Catch you on the next one.